Welcome to our Takeout Tuesday. For this week, we'll be reading the Psalm 8. And this Psalm is one of the best recognized Psalms in the Bible. It talks about who God is, God's majesty, but also the dignity of humanity. And so listen to Psalm 8. O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. Out of the mouths of babes and infants, you have founded a bulwark because of your foes, to silence the enemy and the avenger. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you have established, what are human beings that you are mindful of them? Mortals that you care for them. Yet you have made them a little lower than God and crowned them with glory and honor. You have given them dominion over the works of your hands. You will put all things under their feet, all sheep and oxen, and also the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and the fish of the sea, whatever passes along the paths of the sea. O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. As I mentioned, as we read this psalm, it's recognizing God's majesty. We're using this tremendous language of God's majesty. Wonderful, again, to use this kind of language in our own prayer lives, how we glorify God and to extend the vocabulary of our praise. And here, use this week, O Lord our God, we recognize your majesty. Use that word majesty in your prayers as we recognize God's glory, God's dominion over our lives. But also, this psalm recognizes our role, a little lower than the angels. Gives us a lot of dignity, and we often talk about we're made in God's image. And so, often we talk about our sin and our failings, but here in this psalm, God talks about how marvelous we are as part of his creation. And so we thank God that indeed he has made us in a marvelous way. And even though we have so many foibles and weaknesses, on this psalm, we recognize that we are indeed God's creation. And then, of course, we end this psalm like we begin and end each and every day, praising God for his majesty. May God bless you this week, that you experience that majesty in your lives. Bye-bye now.